Hello everyone. Welcome to the session 10 of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about the transducers, which are also called finite automatas with output. Okay. So in the previous session, we discussed about the finite automata called DFA, NFA, NFA epsilon, and we have also seen the interconversion. That means converting DFA, converting NFA to DFA, NFA epsilon to NFA without epsilon, and minimization of the DFA. So these are the concepts which we have seen in the previous sessions. And the automatas that we discussed till now are called language recognizers. Okay. So why we are calling those automatas as a language recognizer? Because these automatas take some input and tell us whether that particular input is valid or not, right? So whenever you give a particular input, if the finite automata reaches the final state, then that particular input is said to be a valid one. Otherwise it is considered as invalid, right? So valid means it is considered as an accepted, and invalid means it is considered as rejected. So you could say the finite automata that we have seen till now takes the input and gives the answer as either yes or no. Or you could say that gives the answer as either accept or reject. Right? So the finite automatas that we have discussed till now are called language recognizers. So they are mainly used to check whether a particular string belongs to the language or not. Okay? So we require sometimes we require the mechanism where we need to perform some sort of computation, right? So where we give some sort of input, the finite automata has to perform some computation and must produce the result. So here there is a necessity of another type of finite automatas. Those are called as transducers. So what is a transducer? Transducer is nothing but a finite automata that takes some input and produce the output. Okay, so here you could imagine like transducers are used for performing some sort of computation. So by using that transducers, you can give some input, then perform some computation and give the result as an output. Okay, so the finite automata that takes the input and produce the output are called transducers. So in this session, we are going to emphasize on various types of transducers. Okay, so mainly we are going to have the two types of transducers. Those are called Mealy machine and Moore machine. Okay, so if you observe the point number one in this slide, it is specifying that the finite automatas that we have seen so far accept some input but does not produce any output, right? So here not producing any output means it check whether the string belongs to the language or not, right? If the string is, if after processing the string, if the final state is reached, then we can say that the string is valid. After processing the string, input string, if we can't able to reach the final state, then that particular string is said to be invalid or rejected, right? So that's why they are called as language recognizers. So that point is mentioned here. Let me highlight that one. So that is point number two. Next, point number three. Here we are going to discuss about the finite automata that generates output from the given input, right? So these automatas are called transducers, right? So remember this point. So transducers, we are having two types: Mealy machine and Moore machine. So we will see what is the Mealy machine. So Mealy machine was developed by George H. Mealy in year 1955. So in this machine, the output is associated with the transition. So this is the most important point with respect to the Mealy machine. So here, every transition is going to have an output associated with it, right? So if you consider there is a transition, see here, if you look at this particular figure, you could see there is a transition from Q naught on input symbol A, right? But along with this transition, we are specifying the output. So here if you observe the transition in this Mealy machine consisting of two parts. The first part is the input and the second part specifies the output. Okay, so here what we can say, from state Q naught on processing A, we will get a state Q1 along with an output Y. Okay. So here remember this point. In this, output is associated with a transition. So every transition have an associated output. Okay. So A slash Y means A is the input and Y is the output associated with this transition. Okay. So another important point here is this finite state machine. In this finite state machine, the output is determined by current state and the current input. Okay. So in this Mealy machine, the output is determined by current state and current input, right? So Q naught on processing A, we are going to get an output Y and we will be moved to the state Q1, right? So that is the meaning. So output is determined by current state and current input. Okay. So one more point is there, Mealy and Moore machines are deterministic in nature, right? So what it means, for every input symbol, there must be only one transition. Okay. So as we know the concept of DFA, right? In the DFA, for every state on every input symbol, we are going to have one transition. Okay. So same property applies here with the Mealy and Moore machine. Okay. So Mealy and Moore machine are deterministic in nature. That means for every state on every input symbol, we have to specify only one transition. Okay. There should not be multiple transitions. So remember this point. Now, so how do we represent the Mealy machine? By using a mathematical expression. Okay. So a Mealy machine can be represented by using 6 tuples, right? So till now we have seen DFA and NFA in which we use quintuple notation to express them mathematically, right? But in Mealy machine, we require the 6 tuples to express it in a mathematical way, right? So what are those 6 tuples? Let us have a look on them. So first thing is that finite set of states. So Mealy machine is going to have some finite set of state which is represented by capital Q. Next we are going to have finite set of input symbols which is represented by alphabet set sigma. Next we are going to have a transition function delta. Next starting state Q naught, and next finite set of output symbols tau, and next output function lambda, right? So here we are going to have the two tuples here. One is the finite set of output symbols, right? So as I mentioned that Mealy machine will take some input and produce some output, right? So here the input symbols, we are denoting it with sigma, and output symbols here we are denoting it with tau, right? And next we are having a transition function here. As we know that it maps current state and current input, it maps current state and current input to produce next state, unique next state. So this is same as transition function is same as just like a DFA, right? And next we are having an output function which is related to output, right? So lambda, what it will do, it will takes current state and current input and produce the output symbol tau, right? So see here, what we are saying here is output is associated with a transition. So if you want to get an output, you require the two things. One is the state and another one is the input symbol, right? So here this lambda is an output function which maps, that means it takes the current state and current input symbol into the consideration and produce the output. Okay. So output must be a symbol from this tau, right? So output must be a symbol from the tau. Okay. So what is tau? Tau is nothing but set of output symbols, right? Next, a Mealy machine ME is expressed mathematical as ME is equal to, ME means Mealy, ME, Mealy is expressed as Q comma sigma comma delta comma Q naught comma tau comma lambda, right? So in this Mealy or Moore machine, we do not have the final states, right? Because why we are not having the final state? Why? Because they are not language recognizers. They are transducers. That means they have to produce the output, right? So since they have to produce the output, we have added the two tuples to represent that property, right? One is the set of output symbols, and next one is that output function, right? So what the output function does, it specifies what is the current state and current input symbol, and what the output it is producing, okay, or what the output is associated with that particular transition. Okay. Next, let us have a look on the tuples. Q is a finite set of states, sigma is a finite set of input symbols, delta is a transition function which is same as that of DFA. Next, Q naught is the start state, tau is a set of final set of output symbols, and lambda is the output function. Okay, so just remember these tuples here, and then by considering all this, we are going to express the Mealy machine in a mathematical way. Okay. Next, so the transition table. So that transitions of the Mealy machine can be represented in a form of a table which is called as transition table. So here in the case of Mealy machine, we are going to have the two tables. One is the transition table and another one is the output table, right? So this part you already know, that is the transition table, right? So here the rows consisting of the states and next columns consisting of the input symbols, right? So for a particular state, for a particular input, we have to specify the transition here, okay? You have to specify the transition. So this is the transition table, that is the concept which is already known to you. And next one, here we are having another table which is called as output table, right? So here what the output table is specifying, it is specifying what is the state, what is the input, and what is the output that we are getting, right? So here it is specifying the state, input, and what is the output that we are getting here, right? So output could be either it can be either the symbol which is defined in the tau, okay, or in some case both the tau and sigma are same, right? So it depends upon the problem for which we are going to construct that Mealy machine, okay. So here just remember this, the sigma and tau may be the different sets, right? Because the input symbols and output symbols may vary, okay. So when we solve the problems practically, we could encounter this difference, okay. So this transition table, we are having the two parts. One is the transition table and next one is that output table. Okay, next one, design of Mealy machine. So how could we design the Mealy machine for a given problem? So first thing, whenever a problem is given, understand the problem, the property for which the Mealy machine is to be constructed, then identify the required input and output, required input and state set. Okay, so what are the input symbols and what could be the state set required? Next, identify or determine the output set required. That means what could be the output symbols. Okay, so whenever a problem is given, first understand the problem. After understanding the problem, you need to identify what are the input symbols and what are the output symbols and how many number of states that is required to solve that given problem. Okay, once you find all these things, then you need to specify the transition from every state on every input symbol, okay, and along with it, for every transition you need to associate an output, okay. For every transition you need to associate an output, right? Next, after that, obtain the state transition table, output table, and state transition diagram, right? So once you specify the transitions by associating with an output symbols, then obviously you will get a state transition table, output table, and state transition diagram. Once you get these three things, you can test the Mealy machine on short strings. Sorry. So you could identify the output associated with the given input, right? So these are the steps that we generally follow to construct the Mealy machine for the given problem. Okay. So next, we will discuss how do we process the input and produce the output, right? So here you could see this is the Mealy machine. So how could you identify that this is a Mealy machine? The first thing, it must be a deterministic one. That means for from every state on every input symbol there must be only one transition. And here you could see output is associated with every transition, right? So here you could see Q naught on B, it is self transition and the output is 1. Q naught on A, the output is 0. Okay. Q1 on A, it is self transition and output is 1. Q1 on B, it is going to Q naught and output is 0, right? So here you could observe for every transition there is an output associated with it, right? So whenever we specify these things along with that finite automata, then it is called as Mealy machine. Okay. Now we will see how to process the input and produce the output, right? So first thing, here we are using the sequence diagram here. Okay, sequence state diagram which we already discussed in the DFA and NFA. So first thing, you have to start with the Q naught. Okay, so here before that, what is the input that we have considered here is ABA. Okay, so that is the input, right? So here you could see what is the sigma here. Can you predict the sigma from this diagram? Yes. So here you could see the transition. On the transition, we are having the input as AB. So you could say the sigma is equal to A comma B. Okay, set of A comma B, right? So that is an set of input symbol. Next, output symbols. What are the output symbols? So we are having the output symbols as 0 and 1. So what is the tau here? Tau is equal to set of 0 comma 1, right? So as I mentioned earlier that the input and output symbols may be the different one, right? So it depends upon the problem that we are having, okay, or that we are solving. Okay. So here the input symbols are A comma B and output symbols are 0 comma 1. So see here the input string consisting of A, B, A, right? So always the input string is generated from the alphabet set sigma, right? And here the output string must be generated from tau, from set of tau. Okay. So see here what is the string ABA, input symbol. Okay, input string. So start from Q naught. Okay, consider the first input from the left side. What is that? A. So Q naught on A, where it is going? Q naught on A, where it is going? It is going to Q1. So Q naught on A, you should write Q1 at the below. Okay, and what is the output that we are getting? So Q naught on A, you are going to Q1. What is the output associated with this transition? 0. So write the 0 below the state. Okay. Next, what is the current state now? Your state is Q1. What is the next input symbol? B. So Q1 on B. Q1 on B. Where it should go? It go to the Q naught, right? So Q1 on B, it goes to Q naught, right? And next, what is the output associated with the transition and what is the output that we will get by applying the transition? We are going to get the output as 0. So write the 0 below that state. Okay. Next, what is the current state now? Q naught. What is the next input we are having? A. So Q naught on A. So Q naught on A, where it is going? Q naught on A, where it is going? Q naught on A, it is going to Q1. So Q naught on A, it is going to Q1, right? What is an output associated with that transition? 0, right? So what is the current state? Q1. Is there any input symbol to process? No. So here the process ends. Okay. So here the process ends. Now just consider the outputs in a sequence from left to right. So consider the output sequence from left to right. Okay. So what is the output sequence that we got? 0, 0, 0. So 3 zeros, right? So here you could see for the input ABA, it is producing the output as 0, 0, 0. Okay. So if you observe for the input string of length n, it is producing the output of length n only. Okay. So this is the note point and it is important in the gate examination point of view, right? In Mealy machine, if you give the input string of length n, you will get an output string of length n only. Okay, so you could see here what is the length of the input string 3. What is the output of what is the length of output string? It is 3. Okay, so you are going to get the same length output. Okay, which is equal to the length of the input string. Okay. So this is how we could process the input and produce the output. Okay. Now we will do some of the problems related to this concept. So the same thing here, the same. This is the example 2, but here we are representing it in a form of transition table and output table, right? So transition table, you know, so Q naught on A, it is Q1, Q naught on B, it is Q naught, Q1 on A, it is Q1 itself, Q1 on B, it is Q naught, right? Now the output table, how it could be. So first write the states in a row wise. So Q naught, Q1, and write the what we can call it as here input symbols, right? So what are the input symbols here? A, B. Okay. So Q and sigma here. Okay. Q and sigma. Okay. Right. Now what is the tau that we are getting here? What are the output that we are getting here? So Q naught on A, Q naught on A, what is the output associated with it? 0. So right here. So Q naught on A column, write 0. Next Q naught on B, it is self transition, of course. So Q naught on B, what is the output that we are getting? 1. So 1, write in the B column. Next Q1, Q1 on A, it is 1. So write in A column 1. And next one is Q1 on B, it is 0, write in the B column, right? The next one, try to process this another string A, B, A. So here the string is of length n. So obviously we are going to get an output of length n only, right? So you are going to get the output as 0, 0, 0, 1. So this is the output. Okay. So practice by yourself and check whether you could able to do it correctly or not. Okay. Next, let us start the first problem. So construct Mealy machine to perform one's complement. So that is the question. So construct Mealy machine to perform one's complement, right? So first understand the problem, what it is. So one's complement. So what is the one's complement? If you are having 0, if you give the 0 as input, it must produce the output as 1. If you give the input as 1, it should produce the output as 0, right? So by considering the question property, we could identify that the input symbols are 0, 1. So that is sigma. What is the output that you must get? It should be 0, 1. So here tau is equal to 0, 1. Okay. So here in this problem, both the input symbol and output symbols are same, right? Why? Because the input should be consisting of 0 or 1 and the output also must consist of 0 or 1, right? So stream of zeros and ones must be the input and stream of zeros and ones must be the output. So what are the symbols? 0, 1. So both the input and output symbols are same in this problem, right? Next. So next one is that how many states are required here? Okay. So we have identified the input symbols and output symbols, right? So how many states are required here? So basically here only one state is enough. Okay. So one state is enough. Why? Because here in the same state, if you get 0, you will be in the same state. If the input is 0, what will be the output here? If you give the input as 0, what could be the output here? 1. So 0/1. So Q naught on 0 means you will be in same state and you will get an output as 1. Right? Same is the case with 1. So if you get a 1 here, you will be the in same state and the output in this case must be the 0. Okay. So in this fashion you can construct the Mealy machine, right? So one state is enough. Okay. So but here we are having the two possibilities. One input is 0. In this case the output should be 1 and another possibility is that 1 is the input and the output must be 0, right? So these two possibilities you can specify as a self transition, right? So that's why here in the solution we are going to have only one state with the self transitions on 0 and 1. Okay. Now here, so just let us write the output function. How do we write the output function, right? So as I mentioned that output function lambda maps current state and current input to produce the output, right? So lambda of what is the state? Q naught. What is the input here? We are considering 0. So Q naught on 0, what is the output that is associated with the transition? What is the output associated with the transition 1? So write down that. So lambda of Q naught comma 0 is equal to 1. Okay. Now lambda of Q naught comma 1. What is the output? It is 0. Okay. So this is the output function that we could write for this particular Mealy machine, right? Now let us check whether it is giving the correct result or not. So let us take the input 0, 1, 0 and let us check whether the output is correct or not. So first start with the Q naught. What is the first input? 0. So Q naught on 0, you should be in the same state, self transition, that is Q naught. Okay. So what is the output associated with the transition? So here you could see in a diagram Q naught on 0. What is the output? The output is 1. So write 1 below the Q naught, right? What is the current state now? Q naught. What is the next input? 1. So Q naught on 1, you will be in the same state, that is Q naught. What is the output associated with that transition? It is 0. Next, the current state is Q naught itself. What is the next input? 0. What is the output? That means what is the state that we are getting? Same state, Q naught. What is the output associated with the transition? 1. So if you observe, if you read the output from left to right, you will get 101. So 101 is the ones complement of the given input 010, right? So 010. So now you understood that uh, what is the purpose of this Mealy machine. So Mealy machine will take some input, it performs certain computation to produce the output, right? So it is not recognizing the language. So it is taking the input and it is producing some sort of output. Okay. So this is how we can construct the Mealy machine for the problem, for the given problems. Okay. Next one, try to practice these problems. Construct a Mealy machine that takes set of all strings over set of A comma B. Print 1 as output for occurrence of AB. So here we need to construct a Mealy machine that takes some set of strings uh, defined over sigma A comma B that print 1 as output for every occurrence of AB. So here the string consisting of A's and B's, right? So whenever it finds AB in a string, it must produce the output as 1, right? So whenever it finds A followed by B in a string, it must produce the output as 1. Okay. So here you could see the string, if the string consisting of A followed by B, then it has to produce the output as 1, right? So how do we construct the Mealy machine for it? So first thing, you have to identify what is sigma. Sigma is already given in a problem. What is that? A comma B. Okay. So the string should be defined over A comma B. Next, what is tau here? So tau, here we are considering that the output should be 1 when it sees AB. Okay. So otherwise it must be 0. So 0 comma 1 is the output. Okay. So tau is equal to 0 comma 1. So once you get these input and output symbols, the next step you need to do is construct the state transition diagram. Okay. So how many states are required? It depends upon the property of the what we can call it as the problem. So what we are saying in the problem here, when it see A followed by B, it should produce the output as 1. So start from Q naught. Okay. So what is the first character? What is the first symbol? A. So Q naught on A, you go to the Q1, right? So since we are considering the first symbol, that is A, so we are considering the output as 0, right? So for A input, the output must be 0, right? So in Q1 means we have seen A. Next, what we are expecting, the second character must be B. So Q1 on B must go to the state Q2, right? So once you get a B, the output should be 1. Why? Because in the problem, if A followed by B means the output should be 1. So when you get A followed by B, the output should be 1. Okay. So that's the reason we have specified the 1 as an output associated with B. Okay. Now, so this is the part that we have considered. Sorry. Now, in Q naught, if you get any number of B's, what happens? So if you get any number of B's, we don't bother about it because we are expecting A. So when we expect A, we go to the next state, right? So as long as we get B, we will be in same state and the output associated with it 0. Okay. Next, suppose you got A, so you move from state Q to Q0 to Q1, right? So in Q1, if you get any number of A's, you will be in the same state. Why? Because we are expecting here B, right? So if we get A means we will be in the same state and output should be 0. The moment when we get B, we go to the state Q2 and the output should be 1. Why? Because this indicates that we have seen A followed by B, right? Now, if we are in Q2 means we have seen A followed by B, right? So if we get another A here, what will happen? If we get A, again we have to check for the next character, that could be B. Okay, so in which state it is representing that we have seen A, so that is Q1. So Q1 is the state that is representing that we have seen A symbol. So from Q2, if you get A, we make a transition towards Q1. Okay, and the output must be 0. Okay, right. So what happens if we get a B in Q2 state? So if we get a B in the Q2 state means again you have to wait for A symbol followed by B. Okay, so in which state we are waiting for first A symbol? That means in which state we are waiting for A symbol? We are waiting for A symbol in Q0, right? So in Q2, if we find B, we may go to state Q0 on B and the output must be 0, right? So in this way, we can construct the Mealy machine, right? So basically, if you want to solve these Mealy and Moore machine problems, you must be familiar with the DFA concepts, right? So it is simply nothing but set of all accepting set of all strings that consists of AB as substring. Okay. So likewise, if you could solve the DFA, then it is very easy to construct the Mealy machine for that. Okay. So I think you understood this problem. Next one. So try to practice the third problem by your own. Construct Mealy machine that takes set of all strings over A comma B. Print 1 as output for occurrence of AA. So whenever you get A followed by A in the input, the output should be 1. Okay. The output should be 1. Okay. So what is the change here? Just you need to change the transition here. Okay. So it is similar to the previous problem. Just you need to change the transition here, right? So A followed by A. So Q0 on A, you go to the Q1. Q1 on A, you go to the Q2, right? So here from Q1 on A, you specify the output as 1. Why? Because because in Q1 means we have seen 1A. So if you get one more A in Q1, you go to the state Q2 and it is satisfying A followed by A. So whenever you have A followed by A means it should be 1. Okay, the output should be 1, right? So in Q2, if you get any number of A's, it is representing the property that A followed by A. So in this case also, from Q2 on input A, the output must be 1. Okay, because in Q2 if you get any number of A means it is nothing but A followed by A only. Right? If you get B, what we have to do? Again we have to wait for first A. So in which state we are getting first A? In Q0. So sorry, if you get B in Q2, if we get B means we have to wait for first A. So in which state we are waiting for the first A? That is Q0. So Q2 on B, you go to the state Q0. Q2 on B, you go to the state Q0 and the output should be 0. Okay. Same is the case with Q1. In Q1, if we get an input as B, again we have to wait for first A. So in which state we are waiting for the first A? In Q0. So Q1 on B, you go to the state Q0 and the output must be 0. Okay. And this is the common thing. In Q0, if we get any number of B's, we don't bother because here we are considering A is important for us. So we move from Q0 on A to the Q1. So as long as we get B in Q0, we will be in the same state, and it is going to produce the output as 0 in that case. Okay. So this is how we can construct the Mealy machine. Okay. Next one, Moore machine. So Moore machine, it was designed by Edward Moore in 1956. So it is a finite state machine in which the output is determined by current state alone. So here in this case, output is associated with the state. So every state is having an output here, right? So in this machine, output is associated with each state. So this is the most important point here. So if you could observe this diagram here, so here you are having state Q0 slash 0. So Q0 is the state and 0 is an output, right? And what is this A? A is the transition, that is input symbol. And again we are having a state Q1, and slash 1 means the output is 1. So here we are having the output associated with a state. So every state is having an output. So what is the output associated with Q0? It is 0. What is the output associated with Q1? 1. Okay. So in the previous case, on the transition we are going to have an output, but in the Moore machine we are going to have an output associated with a state. Okay, so remember this point. So that is the Moore machine. So see here, so this is Moore machine. How could we say that it is a Moore machine? Because the output is associated with a state, right? So Q0 is having an output 0 and Q1 is having output 1, right? So Q0 on A, you will be in the same state, Q0, and the output is 0. Q0 on B, you are going to state Q1 and output is 1. Q1 on A, self transition, and Q1 on B, self transition, right? So let us see the relation between input sequence and output sequence, right? So here in Moore machine, for the input sequence of length n, we are going to get an output sequence of length n plus 1, right? So in Moore machine, for a input of length n, it is going to produce an output of length n plus 1. Okay. So consider the input for the given for the given Moore machine. So the input is ABA. So let us process it. So Q0 on A is self transition, that is Q0, right? So here you could observe when you start processing the input symbol from Q0, you will get an output. Okay. So in the Moore machine, once you start processing your string from Q0, you will get an output, right? Why? Because every Moore machine starts with an initial state, right? So the moment when you start from the initial state, you are going to get an output. Why? Because the output is associated with a state. So here you could see Q0, the output is 0. First you have to write the output is 0. Q0 on A, where you are going? Q0. What is the output associated with it? 0, right? Next, Q0 on B, where we are going? Q1. So what is the output associated with Q1? 1. So Q1 on B, we are going to Q1. So what is the output associated with it? 1. So what is the output sequence that we got? 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0, 0, 1, 1 is an output sequence, right? So here you could see the input string is of length 3, but here we are getting an output sequence of length 4, right? So based on this property, you could say for input sequence of length n, Moore machine gives an output sequence of length n plus 1. Okay. So in this finite state machine, once we enter a state, we get an output. Okay. We get an output without processing any input state at state Q0, of course. So as I mentioned that the moment when you start processing the input from Q0, you will get an output. Why? Because you start from Q0. So without processing anything, you will get an output, right? So just you could observe here in Q0, we directly mentioned here 0, right? Why? Because the moment when we start from Q0, it produces an output, right? Why? Because the output is associated with a state. Okay. Next, how do we represent the Moore machine in a mathematical way? So a Moore machine, MO, is expressed mathematically as by using 6 tuples as we know. Q, sigma, delta, Q naught, tau, lambda. So Q is finite set of states, sigma is a finite set of input symbols, delta is a transition function that is same, Q naught is the start state, and next tau is a set of output symbols, and lambda that is output function, right? So here there is a change in the output function, right? So here the output function is associated with a state. So it takes lambda maps, that means it takes current state and gives the output tau, right? So this is the lambda. Why? Because for every state it is going to have an output associated with it. Whereas in the previous case, for every transition, that means it takes state and input symbol and produce the output symbol in the previous case, right? But here the output function is simple because the output is associated with a state. So this is the simply the way of describing the Moore machine. Right. So here we are having the state transition table, that is a combination of two tables, transition table as well as output table. So here I am representing that part as a tau. Okay. So what is the output associated with state S naught? We will write here in this column. What is the output associated with S1? We will write here. Okay. So this column represents the output which is associated with the states. Okay. So that is the state transition table in case of Moore machine. Okay. So design of Moore machine is same as the steps that we have seen in the Mealy machine. Okay. So 7 steps as it is. Next. So here Moore machine. Construct Moore machine that takes set of strings sigma is equal to set of a comma b as input and print 1 as output for every occurrence of ab as substring. Right. So here the input string consisting of a's and b's, and this Moore machine must produce the output for output 1 for every occurrence of ab. Okay. So whenever you find a followed by b, the Moore machine must produce the output as 1. Okay. So the construction of Moore machine is simple here. So first thing is that you need to identify what is the sigma and what is tau. So sigma, it is already given in the problem. Sigma is equal to set of a comma b. And tau, what is tau here? What is the output symbol? So it is already mentioned in the problem that it must produce 1 as output for AB. Okay. So the output must be 0 or 1. Okay. Right. Next, how do we construct the Moore machine? So same thing, start with Q naught. Okay. So in Q naught, if you find A symbol, you go to the state Q1. In Q1, if you find the symbol B, you go to the state Q2, right? So the moment when you reach Q2, it indicates that you have seen A followed by B. So mark the output in Q2 as 1. Okay. Now, what will be the output for Q1? It is 0. Why? Because the output must be 1 when you find A followed by B, right? So if you are in Q1 means what it indicates? Q1 indicates that you have seen A only. So A or any number of A's. So in this case, the output must be 0. Okay, next, Q naught. Q naught is the state in which we wait for A or you process any number of B's. Okay. So if you get any number of B's at the beginning, it doesn't matter for you. Okay. So the output associated with the state Q naught must be 0. Right. So this is the case. Okay. Now, so in Q naught, if you see any number of B's, you will be in same state and the output must be 0. The moment when you find A, you go from state Q naught to Q1 and the output must be 0 in Q1, right? And in Q1, if you get any number of A's, it doesn't matter for you because we expect the B here. So once you get a B, move from Q1 to Q2 and the output must be 1 here. Okay. Now what happens if we get A in Q2? So Q2 indicates that we have seen A followed by B, right? If you get A again, what we have to do? We have to wait for one more B. So which state represent that we have seen A? So that is Q1. So Q2 on A must go to the Q1. Okay? And what happens if you get B in Q2? So if you get B in Q2, means again you have to see the entire pattern starting from A followed by B, right? So in which state we wait for first A? We wait for first A in Q naught. So from Q2 on B, we must go to the state Q naught. Okay. So this is how we can construct the Moore machine. Okay. Now let us process the input. So let me consider the input as A, AB, ABB. Okay. So start with Q naught. The moment when you start from Q naught, you are going to get an output. So what is the output associated with Q naught? 0. So Q naught on A, you go to the state Q1. What is the output with that state? 0. Q1 on A, Q1. What is an output? 0. Q1 on B, Q2. What is an output? 1. Q2 on A, Q1. What is an output associated with it? 0. So Q1 on B, go to the Q2. What is an output associated with it? 1. Q2 on B, Q naught. What is an output associated with it? 0. Right? So here you could see we have given A, B, A, B, B. So length of input string 6. We got an output as 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So right. So how many times the AB has occurred? If you have examined this one time, 2 times, right? So 2 times we got AB, right? So if you count the number of ones in the output string, you get how many times the AB has occurred in the input string. So how many ones you got in the output string? 2 ones. So it indicates that the AB has occurred in the input string 2 times. Okay. So this is how we can construct the Moore machine. So I hope the concepts are clear. Mealy machine and Moore machine. Practice few more examples related to this. If you feel any difficulty or you get any queries, feel free to get in touch with me. Okay. Thank you for watching this session.